Which one of your oh, I know. I read the email from Nicole. Right. I was just coming back from break, so I saw it. How long were you in the office with the rest of the kids? The parents all come? Yeah, like 5. Met the boss. So then, did anybody come back to the bus? Because me and Chamberlain walked 6 kids back down to the bus. And she's like, I wonder how many of these kids will be coming back to school.
Test, test. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We're so excited to kick this off. My name is Dan Carlson. I'm one of the band directors here at Lincoln, and this is the first ever full Lincoln band meeting where we've had every single person in our program present in one place at one time. This is also the first time we've done the meeting in the gym, which we just thought would be kind of a cool place to do it, and because we're forced to be here, because the musical's going on right now. They're doing a little run through of their show. So if you haven't had a chance to, if you want to go watch the musical, they're going to be performing over the course of the next 3 or 4 days here. So go check that out, Big Fish. And we have a lot of our talented band students involved in that as well. But I want to just start by introducing myself. My name is Dan Carlson, and I have been here at Lincoln for, this is my 24th year here at Lincoln. I actually came right out of college and been here ever since, so just more than half of my life. That's insane. So this is Mr. Balt. I'll let him introduce himself.
Good evening, thanks everybody for being here. I've just, over the last couple hours, had a sore throat come upon me, so I'll do my best, and if you can't understand me, I apologize. This is my 9th year of teaching, my first year here at Lincoln. It's been just an incredible year. All the students that I've gotten to work with, all the parents that I've gotten to work with. I spent the last 8 years at West Lyon in Northwest Iowa, and I'm excited to spend the vast majority of my career here at this wonderful school. I am married to a beautiful woman named Amanda. She is at home right now with both of our kiddos. We just had a baby 7 weeks ago. Her name is Lennon, and she doesn't sleep at all. So my wife is a saint for that. But to all of our 8th graders, welcome. I'm sure by the end of this evening, you're going to be so excited to be part of this program. And to all of our high schoolers, I can't wait for you to see what surprises we have in store for you.
Yeah, awesome. So a few things that we're going to be covering this evening are just really the entire band program, our concert band program, our jazz band program, our pep band program, our solo and ensemble program, all-state band, marching band, and of course, the end we'll have our show reveal for our 2023 show. So we're excited about that. Before we do that, I want to just talk about the mission statement that we live by here at Lincoln. The mission statement reads as this: the Lincoln High School Band Program serves to provide a high-quality musical experience for all of its members while encouraging a lifelong love for music. By pursuing excellence at all times, our members will have the opportunity to work in harmony with each other, figuratively and literally, to develop skills that will benefit them in all of their musical endeavors. Students will learn discipline, commitment, perseverance, and the satisfaction of achieving success by being the absolute best they can be. Life lessons such as these will enable students to be successful in every area of their lives while ultimately making them more human through music.
One of our goals this evening is to answer all of the questions that are asked throughout the year. And so we have everybody in one place so that hopefully we can answer any concerns or address those and leave you knowing as much as you can about our band program and the best things you can do to help your child be successful in everything we do in the band program here at Lincoln. We're going to start with talking about our concert band program, which is the main foundation of our program. I'll let Mr. Carlson speak about that.
Awesome. So our concert band program, we're very heavily into concert band season. We perform 4 concerts a year that are graded events. Those occur in November, January, March, and our final concert is actually on May 1st this year, so you're going to come check that out. It's our Pops concert. We have 2 audition bands and 2 non-audition bands. Our 2 audition bands are the top band, the symphonic band, and the concert band. Both of those were auditioned back in early spring, actually, and for next year's band, so we try to audition well in advance of when students are signing up for bands so they can get that on their schedules. We also have 2 non-audition bands, the freshman band, which where most of our freshmen end up. We have a few that audition up into those upper bands. And then varsity band is 10th through 12th graders of students who either didn't make an upper band or didn't try out for an upper band, but they just love band, so they're just a part of it. So we have opportunities for every person that wants to make music here at Lincoln. We also have playing assignments. We started doing that pretty heavily this year, but we really believe in that. We see our activity as a curricular activity, not necessarily co-curricular or extracurricular. And we want to justify those grades by having some hard and fast evidence of how a student is doing. And we can do that through playing assignments, which, by the way, Symphonic Varsity, make sure you check your Google Classroom because there's one out there. Let's see, we also have seat placement auditions, so each band does have auditions within their band so that we know where they're going to sit. That takes place in November, and the good news is if somebody has a bad day, you always can audition and challenge somebody for the next seat up. So we have people that have actually worked 2, 3, or 4 seats up in their section because they've gone through the challenge program, through the challenge system to work their way up. The top 2 bands perform a large group contest, which is actually occurring in about 1 week. In fact, 1 week from tomorrow, that contest happens. It's over at Brandon Valley High School, and we invite anybody that wants to be a part, wants to come and watch those students. It's free and open to the public. They basically perform for judges. It's the only time that our concert bands get judged throughout the course of the year, and they're just performing at such a high level. So we encourage you to go check that out. The concert band performs at 8 a.m., so if you want to get some coffee, come watch the concert band. Symphonic band starts at 8:40 over at Brandon Valley Performing Arts Center on Wednesday. And then just a little something about high school, which if you're coming out of middle school, this is going to be new to you. We meet every single day, which is absolutely awesome. You're going to notice that you get way better, way faster, because you're playing for 50 minutes every day. If you're involved in the other parts of the program, you're going to play even more. A lot of these students play about half of their day here at Lincoln. But our first period band is symphonic band. Second period is going to be all varsity this next year. Fifth period is our freshman band, and sixth period is our concert band. So that's the concert band program.
Coming into this year, we have 196 students in band spread out over the 4 bands, and our goal has been to continually grow that. We're excited about 76 freshmen coming in next year, which is absolutely fantastic. We are so thankful for all of our middle school directors. They are just such fantastic teachers and educators, and they just don't get the credit that they deserve. I don't know if we have anybody here other than Sam tonight, but could we please recognize Mr. Sam Anderson from Patriot? So we're excited that that number is continuing to grow. Next year, our enrollment in high school band is 219 students, and we're hoping to see that that retention and that continue to grow each and every year. One way that we're trying to do that is we're not centering the program on just one thing, because we know there's students in here that really love jazz band, and that is their thing, and they gravitate towards that. We know there's students that their thing is concert band, and they don't want to put in any time outside of school. They just want to come to their band period, but they still want to be in music, which is awesome. And we know that there are kids that are in here just for the marching band, which is awesome as well. But we need to make sure that each of those programs is succeeding at a high level. So the next thing we want to talk about is our jazz program, which has been succeeding at a high level for quite some time under the direction of Mr. Carlson, Mr. Anderson. Did it freeze? Yeah. Technology is wonderful. It's so beautiful at times. I'm just going to talk to you while they figure that out. So first of all the audition materials for all of our students and parents that have students in jazz band, all of the audition materials will be ready to be presented this evening. We'll pass those out actually tomorrow during the band periods, and we'll give those as well to Mr. Anderson and the middle school teachers, so that be very careful of what you show, Mr. Carlson. Don't give away the surprise before the end of the night. Try going into that room and connecting to the internet again. Upper right-hand corner. Okay, while he's figuring that out, and this is going to be just like every class period, I'm going to try and keep everybody's attention here while 50 other things are going on at the same time. Our jazz program is split into 3 jazz ensembles. Okay, the first is entitled Jazz Collective. That is our top jazz ensemble. It's very similar to our symphonic band. This is only by audition, and those auditions will take place via video due by May 1st. Any student can make Jazz Collective, not just upperclassmen. Any student can make those for the spots that are available. So all audition material has all the instructions there for you on what you need to do, and everything needs to be submitted by May 1st to my email, which is also included in that as well. Everybody, welcome to my classroom. This is exactly how things happen. Next thing I want to talk about is our second jazz ensemble. Our second jazz ensemble is also auditioned. This year, that second jazz ensemble had a great year. So that second jazz ensemble was not beaten by any second jazz ensemble from anywhere in Iowa or South Dakota at either competition they went to this year. And in addition, at USD, with 14 bands present, they finished in 3rd place overall, beating, I think it was 7 other schools' top jazz bands. Our second jazz ensemble did. And then we have a 3rd jazz ensemble as well. That is not auditioned. That is just for any student that wants to be a part of jazz band and learn maybe a second instrument or learn this style that they can be a part of. The Jazz Collective had a fantastic year this year. Many of you followed that on social media. They went to 4 competitions. They finished in first place at all 4 competitions, including one of the largest competitions in the Midwest. At Coe College in Cedar Rapids, there were 93 ensembles present, and our Lincoln High School Jazz Band finished in first. So kudos to all of those kids for making that happen. I'll bring Mr. Carlson back to talk about pep band because I am more tech savvy than he is.
I'm so old. I'm sorry. It's all right. Hey, I think I got it pretty close, but I couldn't seem to compare it to the screens. Pep band. We tried an experiment this year. We decided to ask or have every single student in our program be a part of a pep band. We basically divided the entire program into 2 separate pep bands, the blue band and the red band. Very clever, I know. And it was awesome because we had about 80 people at every single basketball game. And the good news is it really spread out the work pretty evenly amongst the students, so we didn't have 30 or 40 people having to be guilted into showing up for every single, nice job. To every single pep band gig, and this year we only had to show up to 3 different nights, so it didn't totally burden any small group of students, and we're going to keep doing that. So that was fantastic. So we're required to do 4 girls games and 4 boys games, basketball games during the course of the year. So that's kind of how we divided it up this last year. But a couple of those nights were double headers, so it really worked out well. I know that how busy everybody is, and we really try to respect your time as well. So, oops, there we go. Oh man, this is way better than what we had on the screen. Wow, that was amazing. So, our pep band season runs from December through March. Any home playoff games that we host, we are a part of the experience there. So that is our pep band. Mr. Balta, I'm going to keep going with solo ensemble contest. All right. Solo ensemble contest is something that is very strongly encouraged for all concert and symphonic band members, but also we would love to see our freshmen and varsity band members be a part of that as well. We're aiming this next year to have over 100 entries into solo ensemble contest, and I just want to talk a little bit about what that is. Solo ensemble contest is an opportunity for students to perform solos or ensembles at Region 2 contest, and it's a great way for students to get better individually on their instrument. I really believe that that is one of the things that makes our concert bands and our marching bands sound so good. Students are learning how to play soloistically. They're learning the skills from a private lesson teacher in most cases, and so we really, really encourage that. Playing in a small ensemble, when I was in high school, I participated in as many small ensembles as possible. I see my brother up there. We did duets all the time in high school, and it was so much fun. We both played euphonium. We were 2 years apart from each other, and we just took advantage of that easy opportunity to perform duets together. But I encourage you to be a part of solo ensemble contest. This year, I can let you talk about the solo or 2 ensembles as far as what we do for. Forget it. So, one award that we're going to give starting this year, and I don't know if you've given this in the past, but called the 4 or More. So the 4 or More award, and we'll give it at our Pops concert for any student that gets 4 or more Division I ratings at the solo ensemble contest. Because we do have students that go all out at this festival at Augustana and represent our program so well. Did you talk about our ratings this year? Okay, so we had 61 events go to Augustana this year. More than any other school at the festival. Of those 61 events, 58 of those events earned Division I ratings. Of those 58 Division I ratings, there were 37 perfect scores. That is just absolutely ridiculous.
So our goal is, for all of our students and all of our parents here, is to continue growing that. 61 events is fantastic, but there's no reason we shouldn't have over 100 events that are representing our band program. So continue to push your students, because performing a solo or an ensemble in front of judges is a life skill that they will take with them forever. A lot of teacher meetings we talk about VBS, value beyond school. There's nothing greater value beyond school than performing in front of an adult that you've never met before and having to audition your work. It's a huge life skill that the kids will use for the rest of their life.
Also want to say that process begins in the summertime. Some students have actually already started on their solos now that they're going to perform next January. And we encourage you, if you're like never even considered doing it, start thinking about that. Talk to your band director, talk to one of us, talk to your middle school director, and see, or talk to your private lesson teacher, see what you can do to get going on a solo at this time. And those are also accompanied solos if an accompaniment is written. So we want you to find an accompanist early and often. So
I'll take this, I'll just start this and I'll let you roll with it. All-State Band. This has been, as you walk by the band room in E-Wing, as a parent or as a student, this is something Lincoln High School has been very proud of for a long time. And the number of students that we get accepted into All-State Band each year. This year we had 43 students get selected, and just to put that into context for you, the school who had the second most in the state of South Dakota had 16. We had 43 from just our high school. It is a big part of our program. It's something that we push our students to do. We had 93 students audition this year. We're setting a goal right now for next year at 100 students or more. Through those, and any student can audition. One of my favorite stories that I'll tell until I retire, I'll never forget it. Freshman band's going on, and he walks by the tuba section, and he comes up to me after band that day, and he's like, "There is a tuba player in that section. He's got a lot of potential. I'm going to pull him out just a couple times just so I can work with him." That student who is in freshman band made All-State this year. So I'm going to have Mr. Carlson kind of talk to you about our All-State process and how that's going to work.
So this year, we're going to do an All-State prep camp, which is basically just going to be a day where we talk about All-State and how to prepare for All-State, because that's really when it needs to happen. It's going to be actually this about a month away, May 17th. It's going to be a morning session for high school and middle school students. So middle schoolers, if you want to see what that's all about, see what the culture is here, we'll talk just about how to be successful for All-State Band. That's half the battle, is knowing what you're up against. All right. Required for symphonic. Okay, we really want to have everybody in our, especially our top two ensembles, audition for All-State Band. I almost want to make it a requirement for symphonic band. I really feel like everybody in that band is capable of making All-State Band. We'd love to see those students make it. But this year we had 3 of our 4 different bands represented at All-State, which is awesome. We had members from symphonic, concert, and freshman band, and that's really, really sweet. Preparation, like I said, begins in the summer. Auditions take place in January, and it is a live audition. I liken it to an interview, kind of like doing solo and ensemble contests. It's a great opportunity to put your work in front of the judge and to put yourself out there. It's just going to prepare you for life, and I think it's such a great experience for those students. The worst thing that can happen is you don't make All-State. The best thing that can happen is you get way better and you make All-State Band, but nobody gets worse through the process of trying out for All-State Band. So we really, really encourage that. Yeah, and like Mr. Balta said, private lessons are a great way to propel yourself into that. If you can't afford private lessons, or if you aren't unable to make it work for any reason, talk to us. We'll work with you individually. We have Wing Time, which is a fantastic opportunity for us to work with individuals. But we really, if you have the means to do private lessons, we really encourage that, because that individual one-on-one coaching really goes a long way.
So unfortunately, speaking on that, unfortunately with having 5 band periods, which is fantastic, and jazz band during the day, which is wonderful, there is just the 2 of us, and we have over 200 students, so we can't provide that lesson instruction to students, which is just fine. We're able to see them in the group setting. So we strongly encourage the use of private lessons outside of the school day. High schoolers in here currently, could you please raise your hand if you currently take private lessons from someone? Quite a few of our students, I think the last we counted there was over 100 of our students that are taking private lesson instruction. One of the biggest things we hear is, I'm sorry, I cannot afford to spend $25 a week for my students to take private lessons. We completely understand. We have one of the most supportive band parent organizations in the world. They fundraise over $400,000 of a budget for us for next year. They figure out a way to make that happen. If you came to them or you came to us and we needed to find some funds for you for private lessons, I guarantee you there would be somebody that would step up and make that happen. So please do not let money be a deterrent for that. Perfect. All right, time to start talking about marching band. Okay, so on your way out the door, we're going to give you a piece of paper that has 2 QR codes on it. Mr. Carlson taught me the hard way that you never print a paper schedule because things change all the time and then people get mad at you. So that was my mistake for printing a paper schedule this year. I apologize to all the parents that I upset about that. However, this is my next idea. It has 2 QR codes that you can set on your fridge. The top QR code is our schedule that will be constantly evolving. As you see that schedule on a Google Doc, anything that's highlighted in yellow will be recently added. Everything that is just normal color has been added from the beginning of our calendar meetings, and you know that it's set in stone until something were to change that. I would recommend checking that once a month in the summer, and then once the season starts, maybe just make that a routine of once a week, just in case there are any changes that happen to that calendar. I'll let Mr. C introduce, do you want to talk about our staff?
Love to, you bet. So we have some people that have been with us for quite a while. We also have some new members to our staff this year. But somebody that's been with us for quite a while, for about the last 4 or 5 years now, is Julie Hadley. She is our program designer. She also does all the color guard, all the body work, just really kind of the brainchild of the last few years of shows she's been responsible for. So we're happy to have her back, as well as Caden Hookie, who is they're making up our current guard staff right now. We also have Pete Hansen, who is head of our percussion staff, along with a new member, she's here, Julia Brueggemann. Where are you at?
Julia, you want to stand up?
Oh, there she is, right there.
It's our new frontline instructor.
So for our ensemble members, if you want to get to know Julia, we'd love to have you introduce yourself to her after the meeting, all right? We also have Ashton Weston, a former Lincoln Band member who's coming back to work with us. He goes to school at SDSU right now, and we're happy to have him on board for the first time. Our summer staff is mostly the same. We have right now Emily Anderson, Cassandra Wallachie, Emily's doing flutes, Cassandra's doing clarinets. Tyler Dormeyer is going to do saxophones. Lance Szymanski and Michael Hoffman are doing trumpets. Andrea Carlson is again doing mellophones, probably about 20 years now, almost. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. Robert Conrad is heading up our tuba section. Tim Eckert heading up the trombones. Rollenberg, those are all is doing the euphoniums. Those are all of our summer technicians. We hire those people to work with your students on an individual basis and teach them some basic, teach the music, but also our warm-ups and just how we do things. And those people bring a wealth of knowledge to our program every summer. We also have our marching and music techs for the first time this year, former Lincoln Band members Zach Carlson and Mason Lee Master. So we're really excited to have them back.
In addition to that, as you watch our marching band program evolve over the last several years, you notice that our soundscape becomes a very important part of that. And we have Jason and Paul that help us tremendously to make sure nothing works. Yeah, nothing works. Nothing fails. Sorry, Jason. Jason, are you here?
I think he's on his way.
Okay, he's on his way. Paul's here though. Paul, can you stand and wave? There he is, all the way back in the corner. All right, I have a couple of important dates for you, and you're going to see these on your calendar when you take this home and you look at it tonight with your family. So the first date that everybody needs to remember is June 5th, and that is for all new members and leadership team. June 5th, here at school, from noon to 4, we're just going to kind of get you integrated in the program just by yourself with the leadership team so that it's a little bit less daunting, and you're not here with the other 200 members with you on your first day. So June 5th for all new members from noon to 4, that'll take place here at Lincoln High School. The next day, and this is for everybody, this is Tuesday, June 6th. So the very next day, at 4:30 to 5 will be all of our leadership team. That'll be here that evening. And then at 5 o'clock will be the entire horn line. That'll be the very first time we put the entire 2023 horn line together. That'll take place in the auditorium. That'll happen at 5 o'clock and it'll last until 6:30. So that'll be our first time all together with our marching band show music that you're going to find out about here shortly. Following that, the band parent organization puts on an ice cream social, and that'll be for everybody. So that'll be for the percussion, the color guard, the entire band from 6:45 to 8 o'clock. An ice cream social so that the entire band gets to meet each other that evening. We talked about the schedule. One thing that I did forget to mention, but we will make sure we get information to you, is our main form of communication. And that is through an app called Heya. I think is that how we pronounce it, kids? Okay.
That is the official way.
That's the official way.
Heja, if you want to download it.
This app is for all parents and all students. This is where we communicate all of our changes. We post any pictures or videos that the kids can share with the parents so the parents get to see what is happening every day through our ensemble. It's a great way for the parents to be involved in the student marching band experience. So we'll make sure we get you that information. It will be a new code for next year, and we'll send that out to all the high school members currently, and we'll also get our middle school teachers to send that out to the 8th grade parents as well.
All right, now we're going to talk about the agreement form. This agreement form came about back in about 2000 when we realized that we were struggling having people be a little bit flippant about the marching band decision, and we're like, we got to have some teeth. Well, the only teeth that we have is guilt, but we want to make sure that when people sign up for a marching band, they know what they're agreeing to. So it's super important that we're very transparent, very upfront with you about what we expect out of you, and that's going to give everybody that joins the best experience possible, because they're not going to have to deal with people dropping out halfway through the season. I don't think we've had an issue with that the last few years. It's been absolutely fantastic. So the people that we have are super committed. To be a part of something great requires a lot of commitment, but it's absolutely worth it. So here's what the agreement form reads as. It says, we're excited about having you as a part of the Lincoln Patriot Marching Band. Having a great band requires a strong commitment and dedication from both students and parents. It is absolutely essential that we know exactly who will be with us next fall, because every single person in the marching band starts. We don't have any bench. We can't just say, okay, this person that has 200 hours of knowledge just went out. We got to put somebody else in. We can't replace that. So it's so important that everybody follows through with this commitment, because it's just irreplaceable. In an effort to get exact numbers for our marching band, we're asking each member and their parents to sign this agreement. And it reads as this. Number 1, I will be in the Lincoln High School marching band for the entire fall season. Must be registered for a band period to be a member of marching band. So we want you to sign up for band, we want you to be a part of marching band. Number 2, I will be at SPAC camp, which is our band camp. It's been called SPAC camp for probably 50 years. And every day, and I promise to stay the whole day for SPAC camp rehearsals. Special circumstances need to be cleared with the directors. So we really need everybody there, because that information is given one time, and we never go back and relearn it the same way. It's like when I was in 4th grade, I learned how to draw. Well, we're doing cursive capital letters, and I missed one day, and I still don't know how to write a capital Q, because I had that gap in my education. So you can't miss. I just do a regular printed Q. It's just terrible. Anyway, maybe somebody can help me out with that afterwards. I will have all of my marching band music memorized. This is for anybody that plays a wind instrument. Percussionists and color guard will learn the music in a little bit different way, but for all winds, which includes all the show songs, The Stars Spangled Banner, America the Beautiful, which is our street song, the LHS warm-up sheet, which we'll play a lot, Ave Maria, and the LHS school song by the first day of SPAC camp. The good news is you have those summer techs to come in and help you, all right? They're gonna help you. You have to meet them halfway. You have to do the work at home to commit it to memory. But I can tell you this, thousands of people have been in your shoes, and thousands of people have been able to pull it off. And it doesn't matter what your skill level is, you're gonna be just fine. So don't be afraid of memorizing marching band music, it will happen. Next thing, I will cooperate with the instructors and section leaders. It's very important. Next thing is, I understand that the band directors reserve the right to make changes to my responsibilities if I don't meet the baseline performance proficiency. Sometimes we have people that really struggle with marching, and for the safety of everybody on the field, we'll reassign them. We'll never cut somebody from the band, but we'll find another assignment, another way for that student to participate. But the good news about the Lincoln Band is every single person gets to participate, and we don't audition the band, we compete against bands that are auditioned. In fact, we beat a lot of bands that are auditioned, and it's pretty interesting. I promise to attend all possible summer sectionals, and we'll make them a priority in my summer schedule. So if it's between going to the pool, going to the sectional, gotta go to the sectional. So if it's between a family vacation that's been planned for a year and a sectional, go on the family vacation, it's fine. But we want you there for the sectionals if you're in town, okay? I will fulfill my financial responsibilities by participating in fundraising activities or by a personal donation. Assistance is available for families with financial challenges, so don't let finances stop you from joining marching band. I'm going to have the band parents talk about what our ISA, individual student account, goal is for this year in order to make our season work. We do need students to fundraise a certain amount of money to make it happen, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. I'll be responsible for all uniform pieces issued to me. I agree that I'm financially responsible for any pieces damaged or not returned. Our uniforms are about $500 a piece when you put it all together, and we're coming down to the end of our lifespan of our uniforms. In fact, this might be the last year that we're going to be in these uniforms, but we want to take care of them. We got to keep them together for another year, so please make sure you take good care of those uniforms. And this one is in bold and underlined on my sheet here. It says, this is the last thing. I will be at all fall marching band competitions and exhibition performances. I don't care if it's BOA finals in St. Louis or Indianapolis or wherever we're at, or if it's our very first football game. We are putting ourselves out in front of people. And every time we put ourselves in front of people, I want us to be absolutely spectacular. So that's super important that we all commit to being excellent every time we put ourselves in front of people. The final bit of reading here says, I've read and will agree to the above terms. By signing below, I am agreeing to fully commit to all responsibilities involved in being a member of the marching band from the beginning of the season until the end of the season. By signing below, I promise to not drop out of the organization under any circumstances unless I'm physically unable to perform or other extraordinary circumstances arise that are completely out of my or my parents' control. And then we have the student sign, and this will all be on the QR code, so it's a digital form. You just fill it out all the way through. You check the boxes, yes, I agree, yes, I agree, yes, I agree. Digital signature, and then it says, as a parent of a Lincoln High School marching band student, we are asking for your help in seeing to it that your son or daughter carries out the responsibilities stated above. As stated above, this is imperative. Parents, our students are heavily reliant on you, especially at the younger grades, on getting to rehearsals on time, and we're very strict on times. I think it's a great life lesson. We want to make sure that you're helping us out with that, so make sure that you're committing to this as well, right? I will do everything possible to ensure that my son and daughters at all rehearsals and competitions, that they have their music memorized by the first day of SPAC camp, and that they fulfill their financial responsibilities. The show will be written for everyone who returns this signed form or who submits it on Google Forms. If this is not returned or signed, we'll assume that you are not interested in being in the Fall Marching Show and you will not be given a spot. April 21st is our deadline for that. So what is today, the 11th? Exactly 10 days.
So the next thing I want to talk about, again, this agreement form is on the sheet that you need to pick up on your way out the door this evening, okay, and that is for every student, including our returning members. Next thing I want to talk about is our color guard, which is a very important part of our program. For all of our 8th graders that are in the building, maybe you have a friend that really wants to be a part of the band, but they don't want to learn an instrument. The color guard is the perfect place for them, and we can get them involved in our program. If you haven't seen our color guard program, it is one of the very best in the country. As a matter of fact, our color guard ladies are all leaving this evening for Dayton and WGI, which is a national championships that'll be held over the last World Championships, held over the next four days, correct? I should have just had you talk about it. So a great opportunity to join that organization as well. Color Guard does not meet during the school day. It is completely extracurricular as a part of the marching band. Those auditions will take place the last week of April, and all of our Color Guard members will be posting some signs with the assistance of Caden around at our area middle schools and in our high school as well, to make sure that everybody is aware of those audition dates and times. The next thing I want to talk about before we bring up our band parent organization is our key points to our schedule in the fall. It is a busy fall, but it's a blast. So we go to 5 weekends worth of competitions. The first one is going to take place the 4th Saturday of September, where we will go to Marshall, Minnesota for the Pursuit of Excellence. The following Saturday, we will head down to Waukee again in Des Moines and take our shot at defending our BOA regional championship that was earned earlier this year to all those kiddos. Yeah, you can give yourself a The next Saturday is the fantastic Festival of Bands held here in Sioux Falls at Howard Wood that is put on by all of the area Sioux Falls high schools, and all of those area Sioux Falls high schools do reap the benefits of that. So as much as you can convince area people, that's a great time to come out and check out what we're doing here in our Sioux Falls programs. This year, each high school received $10,000 from just that one Saturday. It is a lot of work, but it's a lot of money that gets used in a good way. The following Saturday is one of our students' favorite Saturdays of the year, and that is we'll leave early in the morning and head up to US Bank Stadium, where the Vikings play and participate in youth and music. And then our following Saturday, which is the last one of the year, we will take part in a long journey east. Instead of going to St. Louis this year because of some conflicts, we are going to Lucas Oil Stadium where the Indianapolis Colts play, and we will be participating in the BOA Super Regional in Indianapolis. Now, because of all of our extra activities that we do with our program, it does cost money. Just like everything in our world, it does cost money. And unfortunately, it costs a lot of money. But it's well worth it. And I'm going to bring up just the most tremendous people you could ever meet. They meet once a month to talk about how they can better the experience for your child through their art of fundraising, through their art of organization. They're going to talk to you about the ISA dues and how each student can go about raising that money through there. Can we please give it up for Jason and Ellie?
All right. Yeah, it is really done. So my name is Jason Ratliff, and me and my lovely wife, Maria, have been a part of the Band Parents Association for the last 3-4 years, and it's been one of the best things in our existence. I'll say that. We've learned a lot about each other. It's awesome. We actually worked really well together. She may not agree. But anyway, so that's us. And then your presidents for next year are Ellie and Aaron Nyberg. So, kids, you can kind of go to sleep. Parents, this is for you guys. So, this program, if I told you you had the opportunity to have your kids in a program that's not just the best in the city of Sioux Falls, but the best, not only the best in South Dakota, and not only the best in the Midwest, but one of the top programs in the country, what would that look like? And so we go over a lot of numbers. And to make this program be the caliber that it is, it takes a lot of effort to get everything in the right direction. So if you were going to be on, I'll just use my example, if I was going to be on one of the top 25 soccer teams in the country when I was growing up, what would that look like? It's a lot of money, a lot of travel, and a lot of expense. So we've broken it down over the last couple months, and we've essentially broken it down to 4 things. Your students are going to be responsible for their travel, their lodging, some of their food on these trips, and all the staff that Dan and Drew talked about earlier. So we took that and divided by the students, and so the next year's fee for all 4 of those trips, it's essentially a stadium tour, right? Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Marshall, not really a stadium, but it's kind of, and Des Moines. And what an experience. I can tell you from being a part of this with my daughter, and we're going to be a part of it again when our youngest comes up to the ranks. It is worth it. So what does that number look like? With those 4 things that we talked about, it's going to be about $895 for those 4 things. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But it's for an experience of a lifetime. So first off, I want to make sure that you guys are completely understanding that this is doable with nothing out of your pocket. Nothing out of your pocket. There are families, we just got done paying our dues for this year, and Ella, for her senior year, we paid $52 to make that work for the dues this year. How did we do that? Being involved and invested in opportunities that are going to come your way. There's fundraising opportunities. There are going to be things like the Premier Center. Tim Eden is here somewhere, I think. There are families, there are families. So what does a Premier Center shift look like? So what you can do is you can sign up for you and some of your family to go and work at the Premier Center. And each one of those individuals will work a shift, could be 3, 4, 5 hours, maybe with the Stampede hockey game, maybe with, what are some...
Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Yeah, so it just, PBR, there's just a ton of stuff. Yeah, there's tons of stuff that you can do. And you can do, if you and your family go and work 1 shift, you can make half that ISA disappear. There are families that if you're a family that have benefited from those premier shifts, would you just raise your hand? Look around. $30,000 was earned towards kids' ISAs last year. $30,000. It can be done. You and your family go work 2 shifts, that money disappears. Being involved in the opportunities that you have for fundraising, that disappears. You can do Hy-Vee gift cards. We actually, we were just talking about this earlier, we made $150 by my in-laws buying Hy-Vee gift cards. You guys know what Hy-Vee gift cards are? You go and you essentially buy, through us, a Hy-Vee gift card. Say you spend $100 on groceries, you buy a $100 gift card from us, you go and spend it, and you make 4%. 4% of that money goes into your ISAs.
But you get $100 to spend.
And you get $100 to spend. So you're going to buy groceries anyway, right? There are opportunities that you have to make that ISA disappear. You have to be involved. Okay? So with that being said, I got notes and I'm time stamped, right? We got a couple minutes. Fundraising opportunities, take advantage of that. The 4 trips for the ISAs, it's going to be $895. Freshmen, there are a couple, and color guard. You guys get the worst end of it because yours is not $895, yours is $895 plus all the extra stuff. So there's some other things that you guys do. You do some fundraising events like car washes and that stuff, so you know how to work that stuff. That's really good. Freshmen, there are t-shirts and shoes that you'll have to do. That's not something that you do every year, so that's not figured into your ISAs. Again, the ISA is your travel, your lodging for the big trip to Indianapolis, some food, and then your staff that you work with through the summer and throughout the year. Okay. Yeah, so work shifts, yeah, we did about $30,000 in towards kids' ISAs to do the work shifts, get involved with those. Fundraising. So the fundraising events that we did last year brought about $10,000 into kids' ISAs. So this is very doable. Ultimately, what I want you guys to understand is if you get involved and you this can go away. You can work through this, and it's the best experience of your life. If there is a situation, and these guys talked about this a little bit, if there's a situation that you just, life is dumb sometimes, right? If there's a situation where it just doesn't work, we're not going to leave anybody behind. We do have scholarship opportunities. We may ask you, hey, have you worked any shifts, have you sold anything, but we're ultimately going to help anybody that wants to be a part of this program. And it's, like again, it's not the best program in the city, or the state, or the Midwest. It's one of the best in the country. One of the best in the country. So $8.95, and making it, being able to make that disappear is chef's kiss. Okay, so if you have questions, please come talk to us. We will work with you. Also, parents, get involved. There is a ton of people in here that are a part of committees, whether it's shoes and shirts, or roadies, or part of the board that helps facilitate things. I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff, but get out there and talk to those people. It's a great program. The kids are fantastic, the directors are fantastic, and the parents are fantastic too. So please come and talk to us if you have questions. And I'm a little sad that I don't get to be a part of it next year, but in another year I'll be back. Thanks.
Can we please give it up for these two? All right. We are getting close to the reason that everybody wants to be here this evening. But before we are, I need to talk to all of our high schoolers that are not in marching band, and I need to talk to all of our 8th graders that are contemplating this big life decision right now of why should I do this? And parents, this is for you too. Why should I do this? It costs $895. It takes away a lot of my summer. When other kids are home working on homework on Monday and Thursday nights, I'm on the turf, sometimes in the very cold, rehearsing. Why would I do this? Why would I put my time into this activity? Let me tell you why. I had 4 students this year, 4 separate occasions, come into my office, shut the door, and with tears coming down their face, tell me that marching band saved their life. 4 times that happened. I'm just a first-year teacher here, and they trusted me that much to come and tell me that this activity saved their life. In addition to that, I had 5 handwritten letters telling me that this activity saved their life. That's why you should be marching band. We get to go perform where the Minnesota Vikings play, where the Indianapolis Colts play. And beyond that, when Lincoln shows up, and I can attest to this from my first year experiencing this, and I can attest to this from being an outside member of this community. When Lincoln rolls up and there's semis in the parking lot, and the 6 buses show up right behind it, there is an immense amount of respect from the students' peers, from other parents, from other directors, for not just how well the Lincoln Band plays and moves, but everything the Lincoln Band does. How they conduct themselves, how they carry themselves, picking up after they're done. The small things that we preach are so important in their lives. That's why you should be a part of marching band. This year in St. Louis, on Thursday night and Friday night, we have seniors stand up and tell the rest of the band what this program has meant to them. It was so powerful, it was so special, but so many times we heard seniors say, I didn't want to do marching band when I was in 8th grade, and my mom and dad made me try it for a year. And here I am as a senior, and this has been the best part of my life. That's why you should do marching band. Our last performance this year in St. Louis following the finals, I'll never forget it. Seeing the kids come off the field in that dome in St. Louis, and the tears of joy and happiness for what they just accomplished, but also the tears of sadness that it's over, that they would never get to play again with that group of people. That group of students in the 2022 marching band was done that night, and it brought all of our students to tears. That's why you should be marching band. And finally, I'm not good at a whole lot of things in my life. I try my darndest to be as good as I can at everything. But I can tell you right now that that man and myself, what we do pretty darn well is we care a great deal about every single one of these kids. When I came here, my family grew from 4 people to 180 people. Everybody became a part of my family, and it was just so evident when Lennon was born, the amount of texts we got and the people who brought over suppers and just the cards. It was just amazing. This is a family. This is an atmosphere that your student needs to be a part of. This is unlike anything else that we can offer because it's a massive community of 180 members working towards one goal, with everyone caring for one another, side to side. It's like Mr. C said, there is no quarterback. There's no one person that can go win the game for you. Every single person is important. Every single person is valuable. It's hard to find activities like that, especially in the day of social media where we live right now. For our 15 through 18-year-olds who are dealing with a great deal, this is a safe place. That's why you should be marching in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to reveal the 2023 show. Before we do, thank you, students, I do want to remind you that there is another surprise after we reveal the show. And I'll share what that is in a second, but please do not leave after the show is revealed. Hopefully this works. Likely it'll take 4 tries.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of your imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
How about that, huh? So, without giving you too many details, because you know we like to slowly reveal those, our idea is to demonstrate what an artist does. Starting with the creative process at the very beginning, to the design phase, to the production phase, to the finally showing off phase, and then back to the drawing table again. We're going to do this through the idea of making a dress and what a dressmaker would go through. And the color on the field will be so stunning when that happens. But I think you're really going to enjoy that. So our 2023 production, Fabric of Time. Okay. So we have another surprise. We have another video for you, which is the surprise actually. So earlier this year, and this is why we invited our 7th graders. We want our 7th graders to understand what is possible for you if you stay in band. And we don't have the final answer yet, but we have a really good feeling that something could potentially happen. So our high schoolers might remember in November, before the turkey supper, we all came in on a Saturday and we did our parade routine in our parking lot for the video that we were going to submit for a parade audition. In that video, which was skillfully made by Ben, none of you, yes, it was so well done. None of you were able to see that video, and the reason being is we've saved it just for tonight. So we are so excited for our special surprise for you to show this video that was made by Ben and showcases all the hard work that you've had. So please enjoy Ben Schumacher's audition tape.
Hello, my name is Drew Baltimore.
And my name is Dan Carlson.
And we are the band directors at Sioux Falls High School and the Lincoln Patriot Marching Band.
We are thrilled to put together this video footage for you to consider us for the 2024 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Lincoln High School is located in the beautiful city of Sioux Falls. At a population of 202,600, Sioux Falls is South Dakota's largest city. Sioux Falls is a regional center for the banking and healthcare industries. It is home to Avera Health and Sanford Health, as well as world headquarters for Citibank, First Premier Bank, and Raven Industries, creator of the large character balloons in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Sioux Falls is a very arts-friendly community. When you think about arts in our community, you think about the South Dakota Symphony, the Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society, and the Lincoln Patriot Marching Band.
For nearly 60 years, the Patriot Marching Band has been a staple of the Sioux Falls area, sharing the same values, work ethic, and commitment to excellence our community lives by. Our students embrace the history of our program, and they take great pride in continuing on the legacy each and every day. Many students in our program have older siblings, parents, aunts and uncles, and even grandparents that were members of the Patriot Marching Band. Band at Lincoln is more than just a co-curricular activity. It is something that embodies our entire community. It is family. Lincoln High School opened its doors in 1965, and the band program has been thriving since its inception. The commitment to excellence is demonstrated throughout our entire program, not just the marching arts. The Lincoln High School Marching Band is the product of 5 concert bands that meet on a daily basis throughout the school year. Entrance into the top symphonic and concert bands is by audition. Both the symphonic and concert bands have been widely acclaimed for the top wind ensembles in the state of South Dakota, performing at the South Dakota Band Directors Conference 11 times over the last 40 years. Along with 5 concert bands, the program also has 3 active jazz bands that also meet daily, a pep band that plays for basketball games, and a very active solo ensemble program. The music department also has 3 orchestras and 5 choirs. The Lincoln High School Band has had a record number of students in the South Dakota All-State Band for the past 25 years, and in 2021, the number of Lincoln students in All-State Band was 53, a new state record, and over 1/4 of the South Dakota All-State Band.
175-member Lincoln Patriot Marching Band has a long tradition of outstanding accomplishments. The band participated in the 1992, 1998, 2005, and 2013 Tournament of Roses Parade in Pasadena, California. The band also participated in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 1994, 2000, and 2008, as well as the Hollywood Christmas Parade in Hollywood, California in 2016. Along with these prestigious performances, the Lincoln Patriot Band has competed very favorably throughout the Upper Midwest, having won sweepstakes trophies and caption awards at numerous local and regional competitions. The Lincoln Band was the Bands of America Super Regional finalist, placing 13 out of 63 bands in the St. Louis Super Regional in 2015 and 2017, and 11 in 2021. In 2022, the ensemble finished in 4th place, which is the highest placing ensemble at a super regional for any band from the upper Midwest, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, and South Dakota. The band also was named Grand Champion at the Bands of America Iowa Regional in Waukee, Iowa in 2022.
Thank you so much for taking the time to consider us.
We are so thrilled to represent the great state of South Dakota and our wonderful community of Sioux Falls in the 2024 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Give it up for Ben Schumacher!
Absolutely awesome. So we did receive an email earlier this week regarding this audition saying we should find out by the end of April whether or not we get in. So those 7th graders, you will hopefully know soon. We're hoping to know by this meeting, but unfortunately we don't know at this time. We have one more guest to talk to you. His name is Wesley, and he is just going to kind of tell you his perspective on our band program. So please give him a nice round of applause.
Congratulations on the recent seasons. I'm going to just draft off of that video and say, fantastic video, right? You did well. So fantastic, in fact, that I flew in this morning from a big city on the East Coast because your wait is over. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pride and it's with great pleasure that I announce that for the 4th time in this school's history, Lincoln High School Patriot Band has indeed been selected to perform in the 2024 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Some things out, and while we do, I just going to take a seat. I want to quickly better introduce myself. My name is Wesley Watley. I'm the creative producer for Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and I have the great joy of leading the Macy's Band Selection Committee. This was my 21st year, and we received over 100 applications from the finest bands. These are high schools, colleges, programs that perform at BOA, Grand Nationals. There are college bands of great, renowned, the best of the best. And we only selected 10. Only 6 of those were high schools. And as a general rule, we were looking for new communities. This community is the only high school to return in that regard because of the legacy. Congratulations. In watching that video, there's a history here of excellence. And that comes year after year after year. And some of those appearances that were referenced there, it sounds like maybe some parents in the audience might have marched in those shows. And that generational love of this program, that commitment, it pays off. And what the creative work that you guys are doing, so I was in marching band. Let me briefly say that. I think it's important. I was an alto saxophone player, was the drum major for 3 years. And so I was part of this in my own high school experience. I know what it takes, but I also know the family. It's the family of these band students, it's their families, and this whole community, the administration of this school, all working together, committed, year after year after year, to build a program like that that can achieve such excellence. And on behalf of Macy's, I just want to say congratulations, truly, not only on this accomplishment, but on all of the accomplishments. This program has developed so much. We've had the great pleasure of seeing it develop over the years, and you should be so proud. I'm in institutions week after week. There is something very special happening here. You have an opportunity, if you're not in the band, to join something very, very special. And as someone who was in it in high school himself, who wishes, I think in some ways, I could do it again and enjoy it, you have a limited amount of time and seize the moment. These programs don't exist all over the place. This is really special. And I just wanted to say congrats and share the big news. We have a couple traditions at Macy's, and the very first is to accept it. I will assume by that standing ovation that you agree that you want to join us next fall. But Mr. Carlson, I'll let you do the honors.
I would love to formally accept this invitation. I just want to say, guys, there's no bigger stage in the world for a marching band to perform on than the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And this is such a special honor, such a special event. I had the privilege of marching in 7th grade in 1988 from Little Pipestone High School, carrying the rifle next to the American flag in that Macy's parade. And I'm so excited that you all get to experience this in the future. So this is such an honor. Thank you so much. We are very honored to have the highest level of our administration here in the Sioux Falls School District. All of our administrators right down here. We have Dr. Staben here in attendance, Dr. Knoll, and Dr. Boyson. And I would like to ask Dr. Staben to come up and say a few words here and just talk to you a little bit.
Wow. How exciting is this? Don't you love surprises? I think you have the best job in the whole world. We're all a little jealous of you. Welcome to Sioux Falls. Welcome to the Sioux Falls District. Our goal is to be the best district in the nation. And I think we've arrived here at Lincoln High School Band. So congratulations for everything that's come before us, everything that you have done to steward the legacy. As a former band kid myself, whether marching, jazz, concert, pep, you are about to experience the journey of a lifetime because it truly is something special. I only made it to the Nebraska State Fair Parade. I can't claim Macy's, but I have been to that city and it's magical and you're going to experience it in a magical time. But what's going to be most magical is when you remember that with your friends, you remember it when you're an adult, you'll even remember it when you're old, and you'll think back on something that was pretty magical, and not everybody gets to do in their lifetime. Maybe even a once-in-a-lifetime event for you. So parents, buckle up. Students, double buckle up, and start envisioning your future at the Macy's Day Parade. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for coming to Sioux Falls. Congratulations.
So, as many of you know, we have the very best principal in the world, and she wants to come talk to you right now. Can we please welcome Dr. Laura Rader?
Congratulations. This is very exciting, and I finally get to talk about it. It is so hard to keep this a secret. Congratulations, guys. Just know that everyone here at Lincoln is so proud of you, so proud of what you have accomplished and what you are yet to do. Enjoy the moment. Congratulations.
I also want to say no good band program exists without administrative support. It happens every time we go somewhere. It's the enthusiasm and the support of the administration who believes in directors like these and their vision. And it's the consistency over time. I would say the commitment of leadership over time. So let's give a hand for these gentlemen and these women who lead the So we have a few traditions. One of them is our drumhead. So I'd like to present to you our official... This is a symbol of this invitation. We hope you'll put it up in the band room. And it can serve as a reminder as you work diligently and with great commitment over the next 18 months toward your performance in New York. That performance was mentioned earlier, the size of the audience. Just to put this into perspective, and I think I'm from Georgia, so I knew when I took the job, I moved to New York, and I was like, oh, it's a big parade, it's a big parade. Sure, I see it on TV. It's unlike anything else you've ever experienced. For those of you in the room who've been there, you know it's New York, but it's 2.5 million live spectators. It's 20, 30, 50 people deep on some side streets. It's 20, 30 floors up, hanging out their balconies, throwing confetti at you. It's this overwhelming joy and excitement, energy. And it's of course the start of the holidays, which as a New Yorker now, is the best time to be there, the best time to see shows, the greatest time to be there. So it's electric. And then when you perform in front of the store on broadcast, it's over 30 million people at home. This is like Rihanna's Super Bowl, Macy's Parade, the Oscars. That's it. Add to that list, Lincoln High School Patriot Band. I mean, you guys just heard it. So congratulations. We know that this community is going to rally and support these students. We know you guys can do it. You've done it before. And again, let me just say, it is such a joy to come to a community who knows this experience, who's been here. We're so proud to welcome you back. And we want to do that and kick off your fundraising with a local colleague from your Empire Macy's and a check for $10,000. And we know you guys can fundraise, but we just wanted to get things started for you. Invest in your students and in this trip however you see fit. We're proud to be part of this legacy. We're proud to have you part of ours. And congrats. So one final tradition, I'm going to have everyone step forward a little closer. We like to make a mess in New York on Thanksgiving. We love our confetti. So some of you, I think those of you sort of in the front might have some, is that right? Yeah! All right. Let's not be not be over enthusiastic. The little plastic thing, we're gonna take the cap off. These are confetti logistics. You take the cap off, you flick it, don't throw the plastic. All right, good. You don't do it yet, I'll give you the cue. Rule number one is you need a place to aim. So we have one right here in these gentlemen, right? We're gonna go in this direction. And I want to talk about a moment that this band knows. Many of you may not. But this is the tradition that makes our invitation official, and it's our tradition that has happened every Thanksgiving morning since 1924. We count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and say the words, "Let's have a parade." It's the phrase that has echoed across the Upper West Side. It brings chills to all of us. It's the moment when these balloons have been lifted in the air, and these floats are ready to go, the celebrities are on their golf carts, and they're zooming actually right past this band. You'll get to like wave and say hi. The energy is electric. It's almost time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have a parade. That's the cue. Can we all do it together? Hold on. No. We're gonna do this together. We're all gonna say it together. We're gonna say it loud and proud. Can we do it? Oh, no. Can we do it? All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have a parade! Congratulations, Lincoln High School. We'll see you next year. Congrats, everyone.
Before you leave, we have to get the 8th graders into our tradition. High schoolers to the ready.